Community. Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm fading in
Awesome.
and out.
Yep.
Oh, can't hear
Technical
you.
difficulties.
Oh, I can hear you now. How's it go? How's
That's
it
all.
going, Gary?
Things are going super duper awesome cool.
My other than the fact that my video is being weird.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
today we are interviewing Gary as an artiste. I know he doesn't think of
artiste?
himself as an artiste, but we're going to be talking about barbecue as a form of art and
Right?
things like visual appeal and smoke rings and garnishes and interesting, crazy things that you would never affiliate in my mind with barbecue. But and then we're going to talk a little bit about December happenings, which you see listed here. We're going to talk about the philanthropy that's going on, and get an update from Gary on the movies and the Christmas happenings. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Cool. All right.
So,
Tee it up.
so how are things at the store there, Gary? Are you guys busy?
Busy doing catering right now.
Yep.
Yeah, we probably done 1,000 people in the last 2 days.
Oh
We've got
wow.
some really big catering events that we got, and yeah, it's been my kudos go out to the team because I couldn't have done it without them. Because that was many hundreds of pounds of smoked meat in addition to the store. So they did
Wow.
an excellent job of getting all that out.
It's like Christmas parties or what?
Yeah, yeah, corporate Christmas parties, those kinds of things.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're really busy this time of year. So this is what we like. We go through that big lull. I've talked on here before about that. Where we're just going gangbusters until school starts, and then the bottom just falls out of the hospitality market, and we all sit around scratching our head, worrying that we're all going to die, and then all of a sudden the holiday period comes in, and boom, you get hit. So it's definitely a feast and famine business. This here post COVID, and 'cause you don't know what's coming, but when it hits you, you got to be ready.
Yeah, for sure. I know. And Gig Harbor likes to party, so you got to
Yeah,
be
they do.
ready. Got to be ready with the barbecue for sure. So barbecue as a form of art. Would you ever think of
Yep,
barbecue as a form of art?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I was pre-reading these questions, and I got to reflecting. I've told some people, I think I may have said it here, but when I was out with the trailer pit and stuff like that, doing it every weekend in the driveway and doing that kind of stuff. There's like 20 some thousand of hours I logged on that pit. And there's a lot of art to it. What we're talking about here, and I can tell people about temperature plateaus and briskets and how to trim, and but those things are really the tactical space, right? The art farm comes in when you sit there all those hours, all right, and every weekend, every other day, what have you, and you start to watch the effects of the little things you do, right? And you start learning how to make a bark texture look like this or look like that, and what did I do to make that happen, and can I repeat that, and smoke ring depth, and you start to notice things, you know, like the particle size of the smoke that's coming off your fire, right? Um, you get to notice, you get to a point where you can control your pit where even though it's going and it's the middle of the summer and humidity's low, you can make that pit sweat, right? And there's so many things that when you start to really see with your eyes and see with your mind, right, what's going on with these meats and the smoke and the heat and different aspects of things, right? It really
What do you
becomes a whole new experience.
What do you mean by a sweaty pit?
Sweaty pit. So you want to have a lots and lots of humidity in the pit. As a matter of fact, when you watch the YouTube videos of some of the guys, they're always doing things like putting pans of meat right inside the pit. Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep the humidity levels high so that
Hmm.
they don't dry the meats out, right?
Hmm.
But when you really get super good at controlling your fires and controlling your meats and these kind of things, you can actually use the meat that you're cooking with to generate that humidity. All right. And what will happen is even though it's hot, it will start to condensate as it as smoke escapes around the edges of the door and this kind of thing, and that humidity will start to run down the fronts of the door, right? Even though the sun's out and it's 25% humidity or whatever, right? You're still making it sweat, right? and you got to be careful with that. You got to know what you're doing with that, right? Because you can go too long like that and dry the meats out. But I always like to point it out to people. And I said, when you learn how to make a pit sweat like that, right, you're getting close, right, to understanding truly what's going on.
Yeah, who would have known? I'd never even thought of that. So, wow, fascinating. So, how important is the visual appeal of barbecue, and what role does presentation play in enhancing the overall dining experience? So,
Everything.
you think
I
that
mean, it's our
visual?
culture.
What's that?
Huh? I said it's everything. It's really interesting because when you talk about presentation, the thing that jumps, I think, to most people's minds are our little 5-star chefs and stuff that are around. The quintessential. You got the white plate and you drizzle this around it, and and that's one form of presentation that you would expect to get when you go to a particular style of restaurant, right? But what are you looking for in the barbecue culture, right? And you hear it all the time. You talked about it all the time, even if you don't realize it. In that, you expect to see the red butcher paper. You expect to smell the smoke when you walk in the store,
Mm-hmm.
right? You expect, brisket to look a certain way, right?
Yeah.
These are all different forms of presentation, and it's all very important. So I serve barbecue, so I serve it on red paper. In fact, I'll tell you the truth. Gig Harbor's lucky that they get the tray. All right, because back where I come from, they don't even bother with the tray. They just wrap the paper up and they hand you the paper and say, "Here, go sit down at the table," right? And so I use the tray out of convenience, right? Because I think I'd scare people if I did that here, right? But you get the idea about presentation. So presentation's all about giving the customer the experience that they're expecting, right? And so barbecue culture has a very specific. When you see it, whether you watch the YouTube videos or you see it, if you go down to the famous joints and tour them, right? Where there's a expectation and a culture around it, and that's our form of presentation. So it's very important.
Yeah, so if you missed it, what Gary just said is that we're lucky we get trays, because at barbecue too, there's a tray and then a piece of paper and the meat. But in the South, it's very common to be handed, like he said, a piece of brown paper, kind of like a shipping or a packing paper, that has
special,
like a wax
yeah.
paper or wax on it, and that's your meat and your side. Sometimes the whole meal comes on a piece of paper, and then you just, when you're done, you wrap it up and take your leftovers home, or if you've eaten it all, you put it in the trash. But yeah, it's kind of a fascinating part of Southern barbecue culture. And so Gary serves it on a silver tray and the paper, but if you're in Texas or the South, you'll find Southern barbecue on a piece of paper.
Those real old guys, these real old guys they're the multi-generational families. They'll still just give it to you on paper.
Yeah, it's so funny. And it's, and I know they're not trying to conserve. I mean, we all want to protect the trees, but it's not an environmental thing. It's a cultural thing. It's a simplicity thing. It's just a lack of formality. Like, the food is what matters to me. That's the statement it's making. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting practice for sure. Hey, can you close your door? Because we're getting a lot of noise in the background.
I'll try. It is an active restaurant, after all.
That's okay. So how about tips on techniques for creating visually stunning barbecue dishes? Is there a perfect smoke ring? What is a smoke ring? Don't get too complicated on us. So remember, there's beginners out here.
Okay, then I won't jump into chemistry, right? But there are actual chemical processes that you can read about on the web and stuff for create smoke ring. But basically, at the highest levels, start with smoke ring. Smoke ring is an effect when hot smoke and the particles of smoke penetrate the meat. It interacts with the enzymes in the meat, okay, and it turns red. Right, and it's a smoke ring, and one of the things you can control is how deep that smoke ring goes. You can also, to some degree, control how red it is. Right, so it could be the red, like the red on our flags behind us, or it can be pinkish, this kind of thing. And in fact, one of the interesting things, the first year or two we were open, and there were those who came in, and they would see the smoke ring and they say, "Well, this meat's not been cooked yet; it's raw." We go, "No, that's a smoke ring, right?" And what is a smoke ring? So we there for a while we had quite of a quite an education thing going on to explain to people that that's a natural reaction of smoke with meat. But
Yeah.
we can, there it is.
Yeah.
So you can see where the bottom of that brisket got really good, penetration. The top, was really more about the bark in that particular picture. But a lot of times, while I'm mine there, that smoke ring goes all the way around, so you can kind of see it. But yeah, then the other thing while you got that picture up is the bark on it, right?
Mhm.
And so, how to create that bark is another one of those special things. Back in your first question, understanding how the chunks of pepper and fats are interacting with each other, watching that process occur, over and over again, and catching the nuances of it. That's another one of those very special things, right? Because if you look at the picture you're showing right now on the upper right hand side, you can actually see part of the fat cap that's still on that piece of brisket. Okay, and so it interacted with that salt and pepper that you've showed me putting on briskets before, right? And so you just think about that light coating of salt and pepper, but this is the end product after it has collected smoke, and the fats have started to melt, and they encapsulate the pepper, and they bring it down into the meat, and it all becomes this very, at one point in the cook process, it becomes very very lucid, if you will. And then as you go through your render phase, and then during the resting phase, if you've done your job right, then that bark on top will form, right? As it starts to cool down very slowly, right? The bottom of the brisket, if you've left it with the juices, will be pulling that juice back inside. That's that clear juice you see a squeeze out of it sometime. That happens during the resting phase, where it kind of acts like a sponge and pulls it back up after render. But the tops where the barks are at, as they start to cool, they start to solidify, right? And they make that shell, right? That everybody loves to see. And that's also a part of your presentation question, right? Because pit masters that they're making their product, right? They can do that day in, day out, regardless of what type of brisket is in there, right? And not all briskets are the same, not all trims are the same, and so we're constantly, with almost everything we do. You've seen me do it in the kitchen, for every brisket, we got an end game, and no matter what that brisket looks like, we end up with that end game, right?
Yeah. So, and this is just the bark over the whole brisket, right? Can you see my screen?
That's over the. Matter of fact, that's a good picture too, because you can see in that particular case, the brisket, that's actually the point, and then the part that's sitting up on the brisket, that's the flat, and you can see where the point was actually overlapping the flat, so you can see the two different muscles right there in that picture.
So this is an article. It's a Married to Barbecue, which is probably a barbecue blog. All right. Well, very good. So, what else about presentation? Do you think how the sides are presented, or?
No, I think there's the other thing about presentation becomes the trays or the paper, right? There are very specific pictures that you relate to, because they've been publicized for decades or for generations, right? The Texas Trinity, for example, there's lots of pictures of that, right, where the 3 meets 4 sides kind of a thing, and Aaron's got his, and we've had ours, and it changes from time to time, right? Because we take a new one every now and again. But what a Texas Trinity has to look like, right? How do you feather out your brisket slices? How do you set your pulled pork next to that? How does your chicken look next to that? And then everybody's got the things you always include the mac and cheese and the beans, right? And maybe the coleslaw or potato salad, right? And so it's always a balanced look, right? So there's a 3 meat that you were just showing right there before. And so there are presentation things along that line. What does it look like when you do a 2 meat plate? What does it look like when you do a 1 meat tray kind of thing, right? How's a sandwich look? You can see some of that in some of the photos you're showing off our website, right? These are things that we do them the way we do them largely because that's what people expect to see, right? That
Yeah.
know what they're looking for.
Yep. And they expect generous sides, and they expect to have a choice of different kinds of meats,
Yeah.
and that you're cooking them all fresh daily. They don't have to choose between brisket and chicken. They can have a little bit of both. All those things are part of that Southern barbecue culture for sure.
It's all part of presentation.
Yep. So are there any specific garnishes or sauces or plating techniques? Like, you're sort of already talking about them, but anything else you can think of as far as how it's presented on the plate, or do you serve sauce with it or not, or things like that?
Well, this is Texas barbecue, so sauce is always on the side. So if you're in a Texas, that's a thing. If you're ever in a Texas barbecue joint because you're traveling across country and it says Texas barbecue, and somebody hands you a plate with the sauce already on the meat,
That
you're not
doesn't
really.
happen.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. We will always either have it on the table for you, or in our case here at the store, we'll put it on your tray in little cups, right? But we will not put it on there for you because we don't. Our shirts say barbecue on the side because we got nothing to hide, right? And we want you to have your choice, right? To either enjoy that meal and enjoy the robustness of the smoke flavors and stuff that we put into it, or you can either sweeten it up or sour it up depending on which sauces you like, and do it as an accent. But that choice belongs to the customer. And that's really what's unique about Texas barbecue as opposed to Kansas City or Kentucky, Tennessee area, or the Carolinas, right? They're always all about putting either sauce, or in the Carolinas they'll be putting coleslaw on everything, and they're always serving their barbecue, prepped already, right? Texas guys don't do that, right? Texas guys have everything on the side. You figure it out what you like.
Yep. I agree. It doesn't come all sauced up, and nobody assumes that someone wants it either. And there was a recent post on social media where one of your fans was joking about being asked, "Do you want sauce on the side?" And one of your guys said, "Yeah, that was a test, because as we know, our stuff doesn't need, our meats don't need sauce." So, it's kind of funny. So what else about presentation or barbecue as an art? Or, I mean, I have learned so much from you. I feel like I could never know as much as you do about all the layers of things that you do and have in mind when you're cooking barbecue. It's pretty fascinating. And, who knew it was almost like a college course, and it probably is, a course as part of learning to cook. But
actually, you can take that college course at Texas A&M. You can sign up for it. You can go down there for a week or two, and you'll start with. In some cases, I think on the advanced course, you start with your side of beef, and you're taught how to take that side of beef apart into the different cuts, and then you go all the way out through the pit.
I wonder if I can find it.
Probably not.
How do you know that exists? You didn't take that course.
Well, because Aaron Franklin talks about it out on YouTube about how because he's usually there one of the days, and he goes through and does his little routine. But so I know about it from there. And then my good friend up in Marysville, Jeff's Texas Barbecue, he usually goes down there once a year or every other year just to hang out with the guys and say hi to the new barbecue pit masters and stuff that are coming out of the event. It's kind of an event. Some of us can go down there and drink beer and have fun, right? And enjoy and talk and meet the new pit masters that are coming out of the course.
That's just fascinating to me. Wow. Well, we need more pit masters. We don't have enough barbecue in the world, that's for sure. Yep. So, okay. So to shift a little bit, we have Holly saying beef 706. What's that? Is that code?
Beef 706.
Yeah.
Beef 706. A number of things are going through my mind at the moment about that, including one of the bowls we have.
Oh, here she's sharing with us a Beef 706 is the name of the course.
Oh, there you go.
I think she's saying the name of the course. That's hilarious. Thank you, Holly.
Good job, Holly.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Man, Holly's my niece, and she's also the one that takes all the pictures of me when I'm down in Texas, running around doing all that stuff. If you come in the store, Holly's the one who did all the decal work just as you walk in up on that ledge, and hung all the flags, and did all the her, and then her and my wife did all the initial decorating of putting stuff on the walls and telling me where it goes and stuff. So, yeah, so Holly's been a huge contributor to making Barbecue to You what it is. She got us started off right.
Yeah, well, she's obviously familiar with that course. So, what's going on with philanthropy in your store? So, who's the?
Let's see, who do I have today? Let's see, for authors, I've got E.C. Murray in the store this week. And she's got some very interesting books over there. For those, I'll repeat it. I'll do this a couple of times. We changed the authors area up, so we've got the shelves up now, and they leave their books on the shelves. They're all marked. They're in the POS system up at the front. So if the authors aren't around, you can go up and pay for the books up at the lobby now. So, and then I have little envelopes where the author gets the dollars, right? And they come in and they check their envelopes, when they come in. So we got EC Murray this week on that up front on the I forget who we've got up front on the counter. We just got done with Harbor Heights and I can't quite read it from here, so my bad. But we've got the school still up on the front, up on doing the counter takeovers. And then let's see what else we got. I don't know if the cameras will show this right. I want to bring this up for the local folks. Can you see it?
Yep, I can see it.
This little book here in my store is free to anybody that wants one. This book, what it does is it's got almost every restaurant, every business profiled inside about Gig Harbor, profiled in here. My good friend Paige Schultz and a friend of hers, Krista Van Corps, put this together a while back, and I've always been in it. It's a fantastic book. And when you walk in the store and you see this book, it is free. All right, so you can have it. I try to put signs on it from time to time, but they get lost. But it's called Inside Gig Harbor: A Guide to Your Neighborhood Business in the Maritime City. Right, and she's done an excellent job putting this together, and highly encourage everybody to get one of these because it's a great coffee table book, especially when you're going to have guests come in. We have that. What else we got going on?
Deborah Paint class.
Oh yeah, Deborah Ray. First Wednesday of every month. I was going to get a picture of this too. She does the paint classes in here. First Wednesday of every month. And these folks have a hoot. I've got to get some pictures for you on this one. But they'll come in. There's usually a dessert or a wine. Deborah comes in, sets up the little easel. She's got your canvas all ready to go. She's got your example painting ready to go. She's got all your brushes and all your paints ready for you. I think it's $40 a seat or something like that. And you come in at 5:30 or something like that, and then you go till we close. And so for the 2.5 hours that she goes on this thing, it is just a hoot. They're usually about 10 or 12 of them out there, and they're just having the greatest time just painting those pictures. And so it's just one of the things we offer. We offer up to the seniors, right? And then to come do something unique. And yeah, it's in a barbecue store, but we just have a really good time doing that, right? We have Tuesday bingo for the seniors. That is really getting popular. We had an absolute full lobby yesterday for doing that, and just amazing. It's free to the seniors. You just come in and get your cards and sit down, and Barbecue to You and our nonprofit Olympic Civic Services. We provide all the winning prizes for free, and those folks just have a good time. We're coming up on the end of the month, so free senior movie is coming up, and being Christmas, we're going to show. It's going to be on the 29th, December 29th, and it's going to be Polar Express is where we're going.
And so, are all the vouchers gone already, or are they still available? Or
as far as I know, that one was a pretty popular one, so I don't have any that's been returned to me yet. Okay. But as we get a little bit closer to the 29th, the seniors that have the packets of them, they'll usually get them back to me, so that they're all in one spot. And then as people come in the store asking for them, I can get them one, right, if there's any left. But yeah, we do 80 seats a month right over there, so or for that show, and so all 80 are out being distributed right now. So
Wow, that's a lot of senior folks. So thank you, Barbecue Tea, for providing that for our community. That's fun. So what's going on with Christmas around Barbecue Tea? Do you have a tree? Are you doing giving tree this
Oh,
year?
yeah.
Or
We had our giving tree. We partnered up with the Lions Club, and we have the giving tree in here. That was very successful. We actually had 2 full trees of tags because we got the tree up early this year. They were able to come put all their tags on it, and then they were all gone, so they brought a second set, and we went through all of those as well. So they've been in here daily. I got a great big box over there by the tree, and they've been coming in daily. I mean, even one of the things that somebody went out and brought back was a bicycle. Right?
Oh,
It just
wow.
amazes me, what this community will they'll take that tag and they will go find it and they will bring it in. And I'm not the only one doing it with Lions. I mean, they do this thing. It's a big operation. They do it all over town. And the same report, I think, comes from about everybody that we've really done good this year, I think, to get these things bought and back in on time. Right.
Yeah.
So we had that going on. We also had a food drive going on with one of the local Boy Scout groups. They were collecting canned food, and that box runneth over by the. In fact, I don't even think they could pick it up. They had to unload the box to a degree to actually get it to where they could pick it up and take it to the cars. So,
Wow.
lots of give back, lots of philanthropy pieces going on around this time of year. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Last night we just had the buy a book and get a gift wrap for free by the authors. They were all in here
Oh, good
last night.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were serving. They serve cookies and hot chocolate, and you come in and look at all their books. And if you buy one, they'll wrap it for you and autograph it for you and do all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so Larry Fowler and the gang were here and doing a good thing. Having a
So
good
most
time.
any day of the week, there's an author sitting at the author area, and now you're saying they're gift wrapping their books, which is great.
Yeah.
Almost any day of the week, if you look to the right of the register, there's a place to donate your receipt to give to the charity of the week, school of the week.
Charity of the week.
Yeah, that's always going on. Then the senior movies is every month. You have to get a voucher ahead of time. And the bingos is Tuesdays at 3. And every time I'm in there, there's still room for more. So I think you could still pack that out. And then it sounds like there's just random things you're doing for Christmas, like the giving tree and the donations of the food. So always a lot going on, and it's fun to see. And the new author area is amazing. You feel like you're in a library back there. So very fun, very fun. All right. Well, thanks, Gary. It's always good to see you. I hope you have a great December, and we'll be talking to you again in the new year. And maybe we can do a little wrap up and look back at 2023 and what it brought us or didn't bring us. And but always good to see you, and we'll be talking to you again.
Okay. See you guys.
Take care.